Hey there, you're watching Dirt Bike Channel. I'm your host Kyle Brotherson, and I've got Sam Oldham here with me, and we're going to be talking two strokes. Stick around.
Why are you muddy up to your crotch area?
Listen, we saw a dingo. That dingo, his name was Tyler, and he went across this really big river mud thing.
Okay, Sam. So today we rode a bunch of different bikes. I don't know. I can't remember how many I rode. We rode 4 or 5 different bikes, right? Today. Primarily, at least right now, I have some questions for you about the Honda, though. The 2003 Honda CR250R project bike. In between the time that we rode it previously and today, 3 changes happened. There was a flywheel weight added to it. Yep. There was a gearing change. We geared it down a little bit, and then we completely revalved the suspension through Moto Experts there in Spanish Fork, Utah. So why don't you tell me what you thought those changes did to the bike? Did you like it? Did you not like it? What was your experience?
Yeah, so those changes I thought make the bike better. And the suspension's better, the gearing was a little bit better, and it had a little bit more grunt. So I think overall the bike improved from the past time that we rode it.
What was the biggest change? Of those 3 things, what made the biggest effect?
I think the biggest effect was the actual suspension. The bike became more balanced.
I did notice that.
And you know, it still wanted to kind of plow through everything, but just not as much. It was kind of a weird thing, even though the bike felt a little bit more balanced, which kind of made it feel not as heavy to me. But at the same time, the front forks was a bit stiff for me. I mean, just how it was set up. And so, you know, I don't know if that was just the way in the mid stroke when you're coming down, that it was a bit stiff. But it still was, I still would bottom it out, you know, on a big G out or something like that, which I thought I wouldn't be doing because, you know, it felt stiffer up kind of higher or into the mid stroke for me. But overall, it's a big improvement over the stock suspension.
Yeah, I really liked the changes to the suspension. To me, the flywheel weight, it wasn't night and day to me. The gearing was a huge difference to me. Made it pretty good it made it a lot better in the technical sections, but in the transition sections, like when we had to go out on the road, it was too short for me. Yeah. And so I think I'm going to try to change the gearing and go a little bit higher than where I am right now. Do you think that would be beneficial, or what was your thought overall on the gearing?
Yeah, I think it would. Yeah, in the technical stuff, you know, we did climb some pretty gnarly things in the technical aspect.
It was short run-ups, but it was really steep.
Yeah, so that having a lower gear and in combination with the, you know, the flywheel weight, it helped be able to get up stuff that I don't think we would have struggled a little more. But yeah, in the whoop sections where it's more high speed, you kind of it just didn't have the right. You were kind of, I don't know, you just couldn't really find the right gear. Yeah. Which made it a little bit more difficult, because it's like if you wanted to keep that front end up, you know, you would basically want to rev the bike out more, but then on the flip side, sometimes with that gearing, you would just blow out and light up the rear tire and not able to keep you know, a light front end that you need to keep up on a whoop section.
Yeah,
so.
I did notice that too. Even though the bike felt a lot better balanced, and I didn't feel like it was trying to kill me, which was really nice. I don't like it when bikes try to kill me, and I felt like the Honda did the last time I rode it. But this time I could get more comfortable on it where it didn't want to kill me, but I still felt like I had a 35-pound weight holding my front tire to the ground on the Honda. And then I'd switch over to the KTMs, and it was like it was light and playful, and I'm bouncing off of everything. Here's the question. I don't have the exact number right now, but when I do the film editing, I will flash up a number right now on the screen that says how much money we have into this bike. And just off the top of my head, and this is without including labor, the amount of parts and stuff that have gone into it, and then paying to have suspension done and these types of things, that bike is like a $9,000 bike. If you counted labor at all, I mean, it's between $9,000 and $9,500, maybe even $10,000 that we've had in the bike to get it to where it is right now. If we put the labor in there, it's actually an $11,000 dirt bike, if not a little bit more. Question, you rode it back to back with some brand new KTMs that are about 10 grand. Would you consider riding the Honda over one of the KTMs? I mean, it costs the same now. Would you ride it over a KTM? A brand new KTM?
No, I mean, it's just not up to the same standard. But a little disclaimer on that is, I actually enjoyed riding the Honda. I had fun on it. I was much slower, and you know, it's an older bike, and so I can get the appeal of someone that would want to, you know, ride an older bike, or if they didn't have the budget. But the problem is you know, for what we were doing and what we expect out of a bike and what our opinion is the, you know, it's hard for us to take such a step back to an older bike where it just, you know, it just doesn't stack up, not even close. I mean, like I said, I loved it. I had fun on it. But I was so much slower, and we'd come up to a section where, you know, Tyler and Kyle would already be up to the top of some gnarly hill climb or ledge that we had to go up, or, you know, super gnarly rock section or something like that. And like I'd have to kind of prepare myself on the Honda where, you know, I'd be like, okay, I got to, you know, use all the technique that I have, all my you know, little ability that I have to make it up this. Where with the other bikes, it honestly did a lot of the work for you. It just, the combination of the hydraulic clutch, the better suspension, the better frame, the better power, no vibration, all these things just adds up to where the bike just has the right grip, the right power, smooth, linear power, everything. And you can get up things and do things where, you know, that's when you really notice that, you know, that you were riding an old bike. Yeah. And it doesn't stack up.
Well, I appreciate it. I totally agree with everything you said. And even though we've done all this stuff with the bike and we've made it better, and I hope that we're able to give that bike away and it finds a really, really good home, but it still doesn't have electric start. The bike now costs the same as my other fuel-injected KTMs, and it vibrates and it doesn't have electric start.
Yeah, and I love the sound of it. It sounds like a man's bike, like it's just old.
It's got a cool, it's got a growly sound,
It's got a growly sound, but the vibration. And here's the other hard part is I went from that bike after I broke the levers off, and then Tyler decided he wanted to ride it and take one for the team. And I went on his 2019 KTM 250 XC, and I felt I was like floating over the whoops and over the, like I was like, I went into like an old drag race car. I know we've said this before, and then I went into a, you know, the top of the line Ferrari or something like that. It just was so much better in every single way. It just is.
Yeah, it's a cool bike. I love the way it looks. I like a lot of the things of the way it's turned out, but it's not my favorite. So we tried. I've tried pretty hard. Anyway, thanks for your input, Sam, and hopefully we get some more riding in tomorrow.
You bet.
Thanks, man.